I want you to do something for me before we get into this. I want you to think about the last time you felt truly steady on your feet. Not just okay, not just managing, truly steady. The kind of steady where you walk across a room without thinking about it, where you step off a curb without that split second of hesitation, where you reach for something on a lower shelf and your body just handles it without you having to plan it out first. For a lot of people over 60, that feeling has been quietly fading. And the frustrating part is that most people have no idea why. They figure it is just age. They tell themselves this is what getting older feels like. They start holding the railing a little tighter, avoiding certain situations, shrinking their world down just a little bit at a time to stay safe. And nobody ever sits them down and says, wait, this is not inevitable, this is fixable. Your balance can be rebuilt, and you can start doing it today, right where you are sitting in your own living room. That is exactly what we are going to do together in this video. You do not need a gym, you do not need equipment, you need a sturdy chair, a little bit of floor space, and about 10 minutes. That is it. Before we begin, let me tell you what we are actually working on here, because understanding the why makes the work feel meaningful instead of just mechanical. Balance is not one thing. Most people think of balance as this single ability you either have or you do not. But your body actually relies on 3 separate systems working together every single moment you are on your feet. The first is the information coming from your feet and ankles. Tiny nerve endings sending constant signals upward, telling your brain exactly where the ground is and how your weight is shifting. The second is your inner ear, which tracks your head, position, and movement in space. The third is your vision, which your brain uses to orient your body in the environment around you. When all 3 of those systems are communicating clearly and quickly, you feel steady. When any one of them slows down or loses precision, you feel that wobble, that hesitation, that moment of uncertainty that makes ordinary life feel a little dangerous. Here is what happens after 60. Each of those systems begins to slow down. The nerve signals from your feet become less precise, the inner ear becomes less sensitive, and on top of that, the muscles that your brain relies on to actually carry out the balancing corrections, to make those tiny, rapid adjustments that keep you upright, those muscles begin losing their fastest, most reactive fibers first. We call those fast twitch fibers. They are the emergency responders of your muscular system. And when they are strong and active, your body can catch a stumble before it becomes a fall. When they are weak and dormant, it cannot. The good news, and I mean this, is that every single part of that system responds to training. The nerve pathways sharpen with practice, the muscles reactivate with the right kind of movement, the whole system wakes back up at any age, including yours. So let us get started. Find yourself a sturdy chair, not a soft couch and not a recliner, a firm chair with 4 solid legs that will not slide around. Place it somewhere you have a little open space around you. And let us begin with the breath, because that is where every good movement session starts. Sit tall in your chair, not rigid, but upright, feet flat on the floor. Place one hand gently on your chest, right over your breastbone. Now, breathe in slowly through your nose, nice and easy, no forcing. And as you inhale, feel your hand rise with your chest. Then breathe out through your mouth slowly, like you are fogging up a mirror, and feel your hand lower as the air leaves. When you breathe in, count silently to 3. When you breathe out, count silently to 5. The exhale is longer than the inhale. That ratio is not accidental. It gently activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers your heart rate, reduces tension in your muscles, and prepares your body to move well. Do this 3 to 5 times before moving on. Now, move your hand down to your belly, just below your navel. This time, as you breathe in, let your belly push your hand outward. Your chest should stay relatively quiet. This is diaphragmatic breathing, and it is the most efficient way your lungs were designed to work. Many people over 60 breathe mostly in the upper chest without realizing it, which keeps the body in a subtle state of tension. Belly breathing releases that tension from the inside out. Again, 3 to 5 slow breath cycles. In through the nose, out through the mouth, belly rising and falling under your hand. Now let us loosen up the shoulders. Sit back in your chair, keeping your spine long. Let your arms hang comfortably at your sides. Now slowly lift both shoulders straight up toward your ears. Hold them there for just a moment, and then let them drop down with intention, as though someone is gently pulling your hands toward the floor. Feel the space open up in your neck. Feel your posture lift slightly as your shoulders settle into the right position. You can pair this with your breathing if you like, lifting on the inhale and releasing on the exhale. Repeat this 5 times. Between each repetition, give yourself a moment to just feel the difference in your neck and upper back. Next, we will move the neck itself gently. Keep your eyes forward and your shoulders absolutely still. Simply tilt your right ear toward your right shoulder just until you feel a mild stretch along the left side of your neck. Do not rotate, do not force it, just a gentle, honest tilt. Come back to center. Then tilt to the left, come back to center, 5 times each direction, moving slowly and pausing at the end of each tilt for just a breath before returning. This matters more than it might seem. Tension in the neck disrupts the signals your brain receives about your body position in space, and releasing that tension directly supports your balance system. Now gently rotate your head to look over your right shoulder as far as you comfortably can. Pause there for a breath. Return to center. Then look over your left shoulder. Return to center. 3 times each direction. Move deliberately. Pause in the middle each time before turning the other way. This movement lubricates the joints in your cervical spine and keeps the rotational range of motion available that your body needs for safe, natural walking. Bring your attention now to your shoulder joints themselves. Let both arms hang relaxed at your sides. Begin making slow, generous circles with your shoulders, rolling them forward, up, back, and down. Let your shoulder blades draw toward each other as your shoulders roll back. You may feel some mild stiffness or even a slight ache in the upper back as you do this, and that is completely normal. The muscles between your shoulder blades tend to become shortened and tight from sitting, and this movement begins to release them. 5 circles in the forward direction, then 5 in the reverse. Now bring one hand across your chest and rest it on the opposite shoulder. Gently turn your head in the opposite direction, away from that hand, until you feel a comfortable stretch along the side and back of your neck. Hold for a breath, then switch sides. 3 times on each side. Keep your torso still throughout, only the head is moving. Open your arms now, reaching them gently out to the sides, and let your elbows and hands drift slightly behind your body. Feel the gentle opening across your chest and the front of your shoulders. Do not arch your lower back. Keep your shoulders relaxed and level. Just let your chest expand forward naturally as your arms move back. 5 repetitions. This undoes the rounding forward that accumulates from years of sitting at tables, driving, and using screens, and it restores the upright posture that your balance system depends on to work properly. Now bring both arms forward at shoulder height, palms facing each other. Slowly swing them out to the sides and then overhead, bringing the palms together at the top if that is comfortable. Then reverse the motion, returning your arms to the front and down. If lifting your arms fully overhead causes any shoulder pain, simply move them as high as is comfortable without discomfort. The goal is circulation and gentle activation, not strain. 5 repetitions. Place both arms at your sides with your palms facing upward. Slowly bend your elbows, curling your hands up toward your shoulders. Then lower them back down with complete control. The lowering phase is just as important as the lifting phase. Do not let your arms drop. Guide them down. Once this feels comfortable, you can add a small water bottle to each hand, something light, half a pound or a full pound, to give your biceps and the muscles of your forearm a gentle training stimulus. 5 repetitions, slow in both directions. Now squeeze both hands into gentle fists and hold the tension for a moment, then release completely. Repeat this 10 times. The muscles of your hands and forearms play an important role in your ability to grip a railing safely when you need one, and this simple exercise keeps those muscles functional and strong. Do not clench so hard that you feel your face or your neck tense up. This should be an isolated effort in your hands only. All right, take one slow breath in and let it all the way out. Before we move to the legs, I want to remind you of three quick things. First, if you hear clicks or pops in your joints but feel no sharp pain, do not worry. Motion is lotion, and it is just your body naturally lubricating itself. Second, do not hold your breath when a movement gets challenging. Keep the oxygen flowing to protect your heart. And finally, if your arthritis is acting up today, just do the movements at half the range. Modified is not defeated, modified is wise. All right, let your shoulders settle. And now let us move to the legs, where a lot of the most important balance work happens. Let us begin with seated marching. Remain in your chair and begin lifting one knee, then the other, finding a comfortable rhythm. If lifting your knees high feels difficult at first, start small. Even a few inches off the floor is enough to begin activating the hip flexors and the muscles along the front of your thighs. 5 repetitions per leg to start, increasing over time as the movement becomes easier and more natural. Now shift your weight slightly to the right, feeling your right hip press down into the seat, then shift to the left. You can even lift the unweighted foot a few inches off the floor to deepen the challenge. If this feels unstable at first, hold the sides of your chair seat with your hands while you practice the shift. The goal here is to train your body to transfer weight cleanly from one side to the other, which is exactly what happens with every single step you take. 5 shifts to each side. Next, alternate lifting your heels and your toes in a gentle pumping motion. Right heel up, left toes up, then left heel up, right toes up, like an old-fashioned sewing machine pedal. This activates the calf muscles and the muscles along the front of your lower leg, both of which are critical for stable walking and for your body's ability to absorb the impact of each step safely. 5 repetitions per leg, working up to 10 or 15 over time. Now extend one leg out in front of you, straightening the knee completely, and hold it there for just a moment before lowering it back down with control. Then the other leg, you should feel your quadriceps, the large muscles along the front of your thigh, engage as you hold the leg straight. These muscles are among the most important for fall prevention because they control the deceleration of your body weight every time you lower yourself into a chair, step down from a curb, or descend a staircase. 5 repetitions per leg. Extend one leg again, and this time flex your foot, pulling your toes back toward your shin as far as you can, then point your foot away, pushing your toes forward. Hold each position for a breath before switching. Then lower the leg and repeat on the other side. This stretches and activates both the calf complex and the muscles along the front of the shin, improving the range of motion in your ankle joint and sharpening the proprioceptive signals your feet send upward to your brain. 5 repetitions per leg. Now we come to one of the most functional movements in this entire session. Move to the edge of your chair. Place your feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than your hips. Cross your arms over your chest. Lean your chest slightly forward over your feet. Then press through your heels and rise to a full standing position. Stand tall, breathe, then lower yourself back down slowly and with complete control, taking 4 full seconds to return to the seat. Do not drop, lower. The descent is where the strength is built. 5 repetitions. As this becomes more manageable, begin using less support from your arms until eventually you can complete the entire movement with arms crossed throughout. Move now to stand behind your chair, holding the back with both hands. Shift all your weight to your right foot, then transfer it entirely to your left. Feel your body adjust. Feel the small corrections happening in your ankle, your hip, your core. 5 weight shifts to each side. Then, when you are ready, try lifting the unweighted foot a few inches off the floor and holding your balance on one leg for 5 to 10 seconds before switching. This single movement, practiced daily, has been shown in clinical research to meaningfully reduce fall risk in adults over 65. Still holding the chair back, Lower yourself just slightly by bending your knees a small amount, then return to standing. This is not a deep squat. It is a very small, controlled dip. The emphasis is on keeping your weight distributed through your feet and your grip light on the chair. As you progress over the coming weeks, gradually reduce how much you rely on your hands until you are using only your fingertips for confidence rather than support. 5 repetitions. Now we will practice lateral stepping. Move alongside a counter or the back of a sofa if one is available, something stable you can keep a hand on as you go. Step to the right with your right foot, then bring your left foot to meet it. Continue for 3 to 5 steps, then reverse direction. Keep your head up and your shoulders level throughout. As this becomes comfortable, try crossing one foot in front of or behind the other as you step, which dramatically increases the balance challenge and trains your nervous system to handle the kind of unexpected lateral movement that often precedes a fall. Finally, practice heel to toe, walking along a straight line, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other with each step. Keep a wall or piece of furniture within arm's reach. This exercise sharpens every aspect of your balance system simultaneously and represents the most advanced movement in today's session. Start by simply walking forward and only add backward heel to toe walking after several weeks of consistent practice, as the reverse direction significantly increases difficulty and fall risk. That is your 10 minutes. Come back to your chair, sit down, and breathe. You have just worked through a complete, clinically grounded balance and strength session designed specifically for where you are right now. Do this every day, not because you have to, but because every single repetition is a message you are sending to your nervous system. You are telling it that these pathways matter, that these muscles are needed, that this body is worth maintaining, and it listens. Subscribe to Liberty Aging for a new session every single week. Your balance is not finished improving, we are just getting started.